7 o'clock, we'll start the meeting with the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please.
Dugash?
Here.
Trustee Pringle?
Here.
Trustee Falk? Here. Trustee Reno?
Here.
Treasurer Shonka?
Here.
Clerk Davis here, Supervisor Lindsey.
Here. Approval of the July 21st, 2025 meeting minutes.
Make a motion to accept the July 31st? 21st meeting minutes.
Motion by Falk, is there discussion or is there support?
Support.
Support by Davis. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item can do so now, and we ask that you state your name and address, and the meeting's being recorded for future use.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As you recall, I'm Remington Nevin, Medical Director for St. Clair County. And I'm here, as I mentioned at the last meeting, to provide you with an update on some recent developments related to the science and regulatory landscape of water fluoridation. So last August 2024, the National Toxicology Program concluded with at least moderate probability that fluoride at approximately double the recommended concentrations in municipal water is associated with the risk of neurodevelopmental adverse effects. And on reviewing this and other evidence in September of last year, the Federal District Court ordered the EPA to regulate fluoride at its current recommended concentrations under the Toxic Substances Control Act as an unreasonable risk. And although EPA is appealing this ruling largely on procedural grounds, it does appear that EPA is not significantly questioning the science on which that ruling was based. And indeed, the evidence is increasingly clear that total fluoride concentrations that are likely to be encountered through both fluoride in municipal water and ingested topical containing substances does in fact carry an unacceptable risk of neurotoxicity and cognitive impairment, particularly during early development. So I believe it's only a matter of time before EPA does act, possibly to lower the maximum allowable fluoride concentrations in water, but possibly, in my opinion, to prohibit the addition altogether. And in the meantime, it's also possible that under the new leadership of RFK Jr., HHS may move to formally recommend against the fluoridation of water as well. And so in addition of either such action, Florida and Utah have recently prohibited the addition of fluoride to municipal water across their entire state. And a dozen other states, though not Michigan, are considering doing the same. And of course, across the nation, many municipalities are doing likewise, including here in Michigan. And contrary to what you may have been advised, municipalities in Michigan do have complete discretion in this regard. Passed ordinances in support of fluoridation that may have been adopted decades ago, even by popular vote, particularly in light of this new evidence of neurotoxicity, should not be considered binding. To my knowledge, neither Michigan law nor regulation restrict the municipality's executive or legislative authority to act to remove this threat. And in my opinion, it'd be well advised for municipalities to at least consider doing this when they in fact control their water supply, as this would be supported by evidence and be consistent with the precautionary principle and with a proactive concern for the health of its residents. Now, given that not every municipality, Port Huron Township included, has direct control over fluoridation in their water, and for other reasons, in my role as County Medical Director, I've recommended that the Health Department adopt regulations to formalize a prohibition across the county against fluoride in water. And this is my recommendation only. It would require formal action by both the Advisory Board of Health and the Health Officer and the County Board in support of this, but I do believe this is appropriate based on the court order. Our Advisory Board meets the third Wednesday of every month at 9 a.m. at Dodge Auditorium. That's this coming Wednesday, and I encourage residents with interest in this topic or concerned officials to share their comment at this or a future meeting. We'll also be organizing a more formal outreach effort to provide information in this regard. And in the interim, I'd be happy to answer any questions that yourself or other members of the board may have. I can reach through the Health Department. Again, Dr. Nevin, Medical Director of the county. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, anybody?
Hello, Board. It has come to my attention that I was recently referred to as a Karen by a member of this board. While the intent may have been dismissive, I will embrace the title if it means continuing to press for accountability and transparency. If my questions are striking a nerve, then I hope it encourages meaningful change. All in all, this unprofessional behavior warrants a direct apology, and I'd appreciate if people pay attention when public comment people are talking instead of writing stuff and playing on their computers, as well as learning how to be professional in their role as an elected official. If the board cannot comprehend this, then perhaps this person needs to resign, as we expect those in office to act professionally and kindly, no matter if it is just me or a dignitary. I have repeatedly asked that financials be posted, yet no explanation has been provided as to why this remains difficult to accomplish. Similarly, I have requested that the sheriff's crime report be included in our meeting minutes. Both the sheriff and undersheriff has stated there is no issue with this being added, and it would provide valuable information for residents. Recently, we had an incident involving a stranger wearing a tether, walk on our road, and entering a garage stating he lived on our road, yet he does not. With new developments such as the Dollar General at Michigan and Lapeer, it's even more important that residents have access to accurate crime statistics so they can stay aware and assist law enforcement with potential issues before they happen. I also urge the board to consider a simple measure of transparency, noting that clerks distribute agenda packets via email before meetings as is standard practice in most municipalities. Attaching them to the meeting minutes would not be burdensome, and it would ensure residents are well informed. At our last meeting, I asked what steps the board and corporate council plan to take regarding PFAS funding to support cleanup efforts in our township. No response was provided. Could the board and corporate council please clarify whether a plan has been discussed? Additionally, I understand that Project Surface will not be moving forward due to the Art Van property owner rejecting the offer. I encourage the board to carefully follow what is unfolding in Port Huron with the Dunn Paper site and its master plan, as similar issues could have serious implications, including litigation. Finally, I note that a new EDA president has been elected, and there is a mention of a new initiative, Project Atlas. Mr. Lewandowski, can you please provide clarification on what this project entails and its current status so that the public is fully informed? Thank you for your time in addressing these issues.
Anyone else? Yes?
I just wanted to remind everyone the reason why I'm sitting in front of you at every board meeting, recording these sessions, running a Facebook page that's dedicated to township transparency, and preparing to file for judicial review over FOIA requests. It's because of one incident with your blight enforcement officer. That moment opened my eyes to something deeper, shady enforcement practices that don't just fail to protect the actively divide neighbors. Talking to my neighbor again. That was the spark. That's where my advocacy began, but I had to put that fight on hold because as I dug deeper, I realized that the problem wasn't just isolated, it was systemic, and there was an infection in this building that's festering. And while some of you are quick to label residents as Karens or worse, maybe it's time that you all look yourselves in the mirror. This isn't about petty complaints from your residents. It's about integrity, it's about accountability, it's about the township that's supposed to serve its people and not silence them. Running this Facebook page, I've spoken with a lot of people that have had similar issues to mine. And it's actually grown from 50 to over 425, I believe now. I didn't ask to do this. I was pushed into it by what I saw, what I experienced, what I refused to ignore. So just wanted to remind you of why I'm here.
Anyone else? See none. We'll move on to new agenda items. Item A, attorney's report.
Good evening, you have in front of you my report for activity in the month of July. I think it's self-explanatory, but if you have to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone Anyone have any questions for Bob? Engineers report.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm going to start with the item 1, Bakersfield Pathway. You should have in your packet pay application number 4 from Telltale Contracting. The value of the request is $147,435.12. The bulk of the work completed this pay application was related to earthwork for putting in the pathway and the stone base course. That stone's all placed, and density tests were perfect, actually really good. Those were taken on Saturday, so we'd recommend motion for approval of this pay application. That would leave $238,000 and some change to finish the project. Just other updates on that project. Contractor was out today. They started putting in the base layer of pavement. They got the side from that small bridge on the boat club side done all the way to about where the trailer parking is, if you're familiar with the park. So they'll be doing the base courses this week, and then next week they'll be there to finish with the top course. So getting really close on that. The weather's been very cooperative, which is helping keep it dry and in good condition. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd look for a motion to approve pay application 4 as presented.
Is there a motion to approve pay application number 4?
I'll make that on the engineer's recommendation that we would pay the $147,435.12.
Motion by Reno, is there support?
I'll support it.
Support by Dudash, is there any discussion?
So it'll be done, the pathway will be done here in the next couple weeks?
Pathway will be in, then we'll still have some restoration items that we'll have to take care of. But yeah, as long as weather permits and contractors keep to their intended schedule, so.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Reno, Yes. Dudash,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Shonka,
Yes.
Davis, yes, and Weston.
Yes.
All right, and just some general project updates. The other pathway project, if you call it that, Howard Street and 24th Street, Stafford Landscaping is supposed to, well, I started to see some people out on site today. There was a couple individuals marking out the site for some clearing and removals today, and so they were supposed to start this week. Looks like they're intending to do that, so that should be coming quick. So hopefully next meeting will be coming before you with the application on that, and then we'll have some actual construction on that project as well. So that's getting close. That's about it underway right now. If anybody's got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item C, sheriff report.
Yes, sir, good evening. On behalf of the Sheriff's Office, I guess department-wide, a couple weeks ago, we had our Ice Cream Saves Lives fundraiser. That was another successful event. Personally, the biggest one I've seen, as far as line-wise, is, people lining up to get ice cream. We had our float down yesterday. Weather wasn't, I guess, good for successful personal journeys down the river, but it kept first responders pretty busy. We had about 85 public assist, just with individual boaters or craft, if you will, to get them hauled back in because of the north wind. And that leaves us with only a couple more special events, and that'll kind of round out the summer busy schedule for us. Township-wise, I know there's been a little uptick in the homeless activity behind Kroger the last couple of weeks. We've had several contacts with those individuals, at least 2 arrests, one for repeated trespassing offense, another with outstanding warrants who ran from police officers. And I just know it's a continual problem, but we're just addressing it on a per basis when it comes up. Also, you had, excuse me, our monthly stats. Glad to answer any questions about those if the board has any.
Fire Chief's report.
Good evening. So as you guys have the reports in front of you, only one notable incident in the township. Structure fire, 700 block of 24th Street. It was a little bit of a stubborn fire. It had about an hour and a half, 2 hours of burn time before it was detected. It was in between two sheets of plywood. It was deemed an accidental fire. And the only thing I have for you is the pay increase for the part-timers. It's contract season for my full-timers, and I thought we should probably evaluate the part-time pay scale. As you guys can see in the report, it's pretty low. So the part-time members kind of took it upon themselves, and they reached out to neighboring agencies to see what the going rate was, and or benefits, uniform allowances. And so I believe they came back with a pretty fair number.
So would anyone like to make a motion to approve part-time members of the Huron Township Fire Department pay raise as presented?
I'd be happy to make that motion.
Motion by Falk, is there support?
Support.
Support by Reno. Any discussion?
Well, if we have them, it'd be nice to.
It's effective when? Immediately, first of the year?
I would think, beginning with the next pay period, you made
Yes.
the motion, but
Yeah,
that's,
that would be good.
Okay. Well,
I guess that, like if the, I know there's one probably,
you can't do it, you can't do it effective the next pay period because you're back tracking.
right, but I mean, when it starts after the current, I don't know when their pay period ends, so now.
Next week, isn't it?
Well, just do it by the week, I guess, so the week would end on.
Starting next week.
Sunday, or,
Or-
ends on Saturdays, and the week starts on Sunday.
Effective Sunday?
Sounds good.
Okay. Yes.
All right, is there any discussion?
I was checking out wages, I looked at fast food workers. So the average fast food worker wage is $13.22 an hour. Chick-fil-A, they start out at $14.63, and McDonald's, their crew makes $17.53. The responsibilities that the fire department has is immense, and you guys are part-time doing the same job as the full-timers, and I think it's well-deserved, so.
All right, anyone else? Roll call by the clerk, please.
Falk,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Shonka, Davis, yes, and Lexi.
Yes.
So you guys get to see me at least once a month, but I did bring, majority of these are my part-timers. There's a few full-timers mixed in. And I do have a good group, and I'd like to retain all of them. So
Absolutely. That's great.
thank you for your support.
Did anyone have any questions for the chief? Item E, approved purchase of sewer lift pump from JGM Valve. You have a quote before you for the price of rebuilding the existing unit and a price for the new unit. Be my recommendation that we go with the new unit. The old unit is, I think it's over 20 years old. But for the price difference, I think the new pump would be better fit for what we need here, as far as the difference between 21,000 and 29,000. But whatever the board wants to do.
was the used one of one you currently have?
It's gotta be over 20 years old.
You need this pump at that station.
Yeah, because those at the jail don't pay any attention to what their inmates were on the floor.
When?
The story I was told when they looked at those pumps to begin with, because they're different than almost every other pump that we have, is they demonstrated sticking a 2x4 in, and it took it.
Based on the information that the difference from the 6,000.
21 and change, and the other one's 29 and change.
Okay, good. I'll make a motion that we purchase the new.
A motion by Reno and second by Dudash. Any other discussion?
Warranty on the new ones.
Oh, let me see here. That's all it says, the standard warranty. Yeah, I want to think it's a year or two, but I don't know for sure.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
On the existing pump, is it worth keeping it as is an emergency standby?
We already had the emergency standby. It doesn't work at all.
Oh, okay.
We have the emergency standby in the station right now, so there's two running. And then, what will happen is we'll get the new pump, put it in the station, and pull one of the other ones out, so that we're running it during its warranty time. 12 months from the day of startup, not to exceed 18 months from the date of shipment. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item F, approved camera system for the Township Hall and the Fire Department. Do you want to discuss that, Pete?
Sure. I requested quotes from 4 people back in December, and got updates various times throughout the year, just so they were all on the same page as far as what cameras and where they were going to be videotaping locations and things like that. And our lowest bidder is happens to be a local guy, Blue Water Audio Video, for $11,902. Another bid was for $16,912. The third one was for $12,829, and the last one was $14,570 or $590. After looking at the technology of the various cameras and things like this, the Blue Water is the best cameras for the price versus the other ones. The last bidder was a company that does it by subscription, and the subscription price is I believe it's about $1,200 or $1,400 a year. That would be an ongoing price. It's a license fee. So I didn't think that was a good deal either, because you have an ongoing cost. This way, we own all the cameras outright. There's no licensing fees on that after we buy it. So my recommendation is using Blue Water Audio Video. on this for $2,500, so that would be, that price would be lowered by the $2,500.
Okay, so you have a motion on the floor. Is there support?
What was the price again, Pete?
$11,902.
I'll support that.
Support by Pringle. Is there any discussion?
Would that include in here, as far as the meeting room and?
Yeah, there'll be one in the meeting room, there, two in the hallway,
Okay,
one in the treasurer's area in the lobby,
okay.
and then we'll have several outside as well as at the fire department as well.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Shanka,
Yes.
Kringle,
Yes.
Yash,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Bulk,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Androwski.
Yes. Item G, discussion on video recording township board meetings. I did get one quote back, and I had two other people come in and they had their ideas and numbers roughly. And this one here is one that you don't need anybody to run it. All you gotta do is push a button to turn it on down in the computer room, and it would record video in this room along with sound. There would just be one mic probably up there, and being that this is such a small room, it should pick everybody up. So I guess the bottom line is it's up to the board as to what they want to do. This is what you're looking at to get set up here, $6,354.92.
Will this be streamed on YouTube, or where people will be able to watch these meetings at?
We could do, I don't know whether YouTube, I don't know whether just putting it on our website.
Where's Marysville, is it Venmo?
Venmo.
Venmo. That's pretty slick. They live stream it and then it's on their website and.
Well, we wouldn't be live streaming this, probably be recording and putting it on.
I think it'd be great to record the meetings.
I guess what questions to,
Yes, sir.
on the, like, what responsibility would we have to maintain what we record?
I talked to Bob about that, and my thoughts were, is once it's not something that you have to do. I don't know how long you would have to retain the video. If you have to retain it, it's gonna take a lot of storage.
You're gonna want just to establish a policy that sets a period of time, it's definitely gotta be at least, I mean, the original, whatever's not broadcast, you know, the original, for at least through the establishment of the minutes, approval of the minutes, and then whatever policy you establish for retaining time.
I guess my concern would be with everything out there today, if you don't have the original to, if somebody else alters what's out there, and if you don't have the original to back up, you know.
It's a legitimate concern.
Yes, and that would be my objection to even recording. Just the information that's out there that can get manipulated, and we don't have anything to prove differently, because we're not keeping the original. And it could be 2 years from now, it could be 5 years from now. I don't know how, I don't know if you want to start keeping these things forever. That's just my opinion.
How secure would it be, Bob? It would be done here, right? The tapes are gonna be taped here and.
Well, it would be recorded here,
Uh-huh.
probably on some sort of drive, and then it would have to be transferred to online or somehow.
audio, video, do they have any recommendations as far as,
No, I didn't ask him.
might be something, you know, I'd like to see what other municipalities do.
Anyone else? Thoughts?
From the attorney's standpoint, what liabilities would there be?
I can't imagine there's any liability. My concern, I would share the concern that John has, that you'd want to be able to make sure that what's out there is legitimate to what was reported. You know, other than that, I'm not concerned that there's any liability that the township could experience because of that. These are open meetings, they're open to the public. Members of the public record them if they choose to, either audio or video. And outside of that, I don't have any other issues. That's basically a policy outlet for the board.
Mine is just concern over the dollars of that versus how many people would actually see it. I did some research on it. We have a population of $10,792, 792 people. The Citizen Watch website has 31 subscribers, people that watch it through there. Videos that are on YouTube go through Citizen Watch. They had a total of 1,403 total views out of, I believe it was 14 videos. Average views works out to 107.92 views per video. That's 1% of the population that would watch it if they were all in the township. This is just total views. Could be anybody in the world that saw that. That's my concern. Spending $6,300 for 1% of the population to see a township meeting. It's not a real big bang for your buck.
Well, yeah, I understand. The only people that I've had come up to me and tell me that they've seen our township meetings were, one, they did not live in the township. And two, one of them was another township, just seeing how our meetings were ran. That's all I've.
What does OTA, they have any recommendations on, you know, and they're not live, so they're not expanding our viewership of the meeting itself. We're saying to watch it instead of, like the church, St. Stephen's does theirs, and just questioning that because church doesn't seem like we have a lot of people watching church. But, so it's not really expanding people in the seat to somebody sitting in front of their TV or their computer.
It's hard to justify it.
Yeah, it's an expense, you gotta justify it. And like our council has said, we're not required to do it. As John says, well then, somebody could skew it with AI or whatever and make it into whatever they want. There's a lot of problems we still need to research on it before we go at it. At least it's my belief.
I think it's important that we do it, you know, with, especially like with all the PFAS thing. I'm on a board at the health department, and we have a lot of important information. We don't take those meetings. And I just think it's really important for the public to be able to watch these. And maybe they don't watch it because takes a while, but I think it's very important that the meetings are taped. There's a lot of people that can't make it to the meetings, you know, they work, they're, you know, elderly or infirmed or whatever, and they just can't make it. And it's important to tape the meetings. It's just something.
What's the board's pleasure? If you have questions. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that at the present time we do not record.
I don't know that you're supposed to make a motion against.
It has to be positive, it has to be in the positive,
Okay.
and you can vote down.
But then you can't change your mind. You got to vote the same way whatever you make.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You can't say I want to vote for having a video and then vote no.
I don't want to.
If you want, if you.
Put something on the Facebook page asking citizens what their thoughts are.
Probably. I'm not a Facebook junkie, but.
I don't think there's anybody to know who's answering you.
Yeah, you don't know who's answering you.
If they're resident or not.
How about if we put it in the township newsletter?
And how are you gonna answer us?
Call the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle has that, for Huron Township Community Hub.
It's Facebook.
Yeah.
We
Maybe
got
she,
Facebook too.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe she could put a poll up there to see.
Mr. Superman, in a recent issue in another community in the county, there was a survey circulated.
You gotta watch doing those.
I know, just saying, make sure the board gets all this information. It requests information like, are you a member of the community? Do you live here? Do you own property here? You're a resident? And they can answer it any way they want, but there are survey tools that you could use rather than having people just call in. Just something to consider.
Well, we can table it to the next meeting if you have any questions. You're more than welcome to either find the answer yourself or email me and I will try to find the answer.
So we'll talk about it at the next meeting, and by this issue.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's up to the board, whatever you want to do. I'm the messenger at this moment.
I'll make a motion that we table it to the next meeting.
Motion by Pringle, is there support? Support by Shonka. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, just so we can gather more information and bring it back to the next meeting. That would be lots more information.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H. Approved charitable gaming license for Jeepers Anonymous of Michigan. They want to get a, as you can see here, a civic organization charitable gaming license to do raffles and basket raffles. You can see what the proceeds are for. They're the ones that do the wreaths in the cemetery. Guess I'd be asking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Falk, is there support?
I'll support it.
Support by Reno. Any discussion?
They do a lot of charitable work. They did a beautiful job with these across America.
please.
Paul,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Shonka,
Yes.
Davis, yes, and West.
Yes. Item I, FOIA appeal for Michelle Brown. Michelle?
I submitted an appeal request regarding this recent FOIA. Specifically, I'm challenging the 4 hours of labor billed for retrieving 6 months of credit card statements. A task by any reasonable standard should require significantly less time. We all have these cards in our homes, so. To clarify, also, the $50 deposit, just to want to make a mention of this, was not requested by the clerk's office or the clerk. Rather, it was a voluntary act initiated by me as a gesture of good faith and demonstration of my willingness to cover reasonable costs. However, the charges I incurred appear inflated and disproportionate to the actual administrative effort. Additionally, the job description, driver policy documents provided early in the process were standard materials that should be readily available in any well-organized office. Retrieving such commonly referenced documents should not have required substantial time or effort. It's concerning that downloading statements from platforms such as Sam's Club and Menards, both of which offer instant access with minimal navigation, was treated as a labor-intensive task. Even if some formatting or organization was necessary, the time billed doesn't align, and there wasn't any other. It took 5 days to receive a job description, a driver policy, which are standard documents in any entity setting with people working, and Sam's Club statements. However, it took an additional 10 days to retrieve statements from Menards and Chase. This act should take well under an hour. I can download statements from my account in a matter of minutes. Further complicating matters, I was unable to open the Chase document due to its file extension, which was odd to me because most of those statements that you can download from these websites, they're in PDF format. And the Menard statement appeared as just a piece of paper with blue dots on it, so I'm not even getting the things that I'm asking for. Both were unusable, and these technical issues not only hindered my ability to review the materials, but raised concerns about the quality and the completeness of the response. I don't know why 4 hours, it just doesn't make sense, and a 10-day extension. Charging excessive time for routine administrative tasks undermines both the cost, fairness, and spirit of the FOIA Act, which is intended to promote transparency and public access, not discourage it through inflated fees. And I feel like this is happening on a consistent basis. So I'm respectfully asking for a thorough review and adjustment to these charges. Also to obtain the documents that I wasn't able to open as they were sent to me. And I'm prepared to escalate the matter further for judicial review if I have to as well.
You said you requested statements, but did you also request the receipts that went with those statements?
No. It was 6 months of Chase statements. Chase, Menards, and Sam's Club. And if I did get receipts, I couldn't see them.
I emailed you back for clarification because you asked for invoices. And I sent you a sample of what Chase and Menard's statements look like. Basically, all they are is transactions. The date receipts to be scanned. And you said, that's fine, the scanned receipts would be fine.
I don't have that documentation in my email thread that I was reviewing, but I can look.
Sam's Club is different because they do provide transactions as well as detailed items of what you purchased at Sam's Club on their statement. That's why that one was pulled and sent first along with the driving policy.
Okay. I did not get the Menards or the Chase statements, and I wasn't able to open the format that was sent in, so I couldn't clarify whether it was sent to me or not.
And at the end of every email, I asked you, we can only send
That's fine, go
PDFs
ahead.
a certain size. So if you don't get them, you have to let me know.
I did.
Not until you sent in your denial or your wanting to protest the excessive
But
fees.
it should be you checking that the information you're sending.
I
the
can open it just fine, and so did several other people.
An EMP file?
Don't know, you just had to keep clicking on it and it went right to the PDF.
Oh, I didn't get any instruction from you to continue clicking on it. I've never, I don't know. Working, I don't know what an EMP file really is, really. So I couldn't verify whether or not I had receipts in the documents that she sent me or not, because I couldn't open them.
Yes, sir. Can I address this? So I was asked to look at this, and I did see the email exchange where there was a request from the clerk to the applicant. Were you able to open this after the applicant advised him having trouble opening it? The clerk asked, did you eventually get it open? And there was no response. So perhaps that request should have been made for maybe a physical copy or a different extension. The request also, in a couple of areas, asked for not documents the township has, but documents the township can go get, and that's not what FOIA is for. There's no obligation, nor would I ever recommend that when a request comes in under FOIA, that you either create a list. One of the requests was, I want a list of grants applied for. If there is no list maintained of grants applied for, there's nothing to supply. Ms. Brown's concerned that it would have been easy for the clerk to go on the website of these vendors and download the statement. That's not how FOIA works. The clerk has to respond to the request that's made, and she has to do it from the township's records. And that's not a matter of clicking a download. It's a matter of opening up files, pulling physical files, perhaps in cases, photocopying them and sending them. And I do not recommend that the township go anywhere beyond the mandates of FOIA. Reviewing the steps that took place and the efforts the clerk went through to accommodate Ms. Brown, I don't think anything was inappropriate in the way the township handled this, and I would recommend that the fees be upheld.
Anything you want to add?
No, can't confirm what I couldn't open, so.
Were you given an estimate?
Well, Benita, I got the impression that my $50 deposit was going to cover actually the entire FOIA. And she didn't request it, I offered it. I don't know. I don't know. Can't confirm if the work was done or not because I couldn't open the documents to see if the receipts were included or not that we apparently discussed. So it's like paying for a burger and not getting the fries, or paying for a burger and fries and not getting the fries.
You go back and tell them you didn't get the fries. And they would
I shouldn't have to,
accommodate you.
I shouldn't have
Well, how do
to
I know you didn't
check
get
your
it?
word. I'm not, it's pointless to go back and forth with you, Anita.
There's no action being that the FOIA stands, or should we?
Well, no, I think the board has to make a decision based on the PO.
Would someone like to make a motion to uphold the FOIA fees?
78.
Somebody,
78.50.
I'll make a motion that the original charges be kept as they are.
Motion by Reno, is there support? Support by Shaka. Any further discussion?
I just think that, I think that we should accept the 50, because she was under the impression, when she went to do this, that that was going to be the charge.
Where did that impression come from?
Right. They don't.
When she dropped off that deposit and spoke with you?
No, she spoke to me over the phone and said, I'm bringing $50 in. And I said, we don't require a deposit. I'm not requiring you to pay a deposit.
it's coming down to a lot of, I assumes.
Well,
I assume this deposit's gonna cover it.
I've been here for over 16 years and I've never had any, or seen any issues with FOIAs as I have.
Supervisor, it's just, as our attorney says, we're following our side of what we're supposed to be doing. And as she stated, I didn't get my fries, so it's up to you to tell me I didn't get my fries. No, it's up to the customer to tell us that it wasn't done the way I wanted it done. I want this and this and this. And then we have to turn to our attorney and say, do we supply what she wants? Or do we not supply what she wants? It's not up to, FOIA is fairly strict in how it words itself. And you can't be going around estimating and estimating what the customer wants.
I asked for estimated costs if they exceeded $20 to be communicated to me.
And we communicated.
And she didn't feel there was a need for the deposit of $50 that I was willing to give. So. If she didn't think that I didn't need to bring that $50 with me, then, and I asked for an estimate of $20 and to be communicated to me. Furthermore, she's the FOIA coordinator. She should have that stuff done correctly the first time. I shouldn't have to come back and ask for my fries. It should be done right the first time. That's why she's a coordinator.
You tell the person you didn't get your fries. You don't assume that I'm gonna know that you didn't get your fries.
I don't go back asking for fries.
There is an
You
email
use
where
the metaphor,
we
not
did go back and forth about the cost due to the fact that we had to scan Menard's receipts and I was 1 month from Chase or Visa, and this is 1 month from Menards. So we have to go through, scan all those statements, we have to unfold all those little tiny receipts and scan them all. And so we exchanged an email about the fact that there was 30 to probably 50 receipts for every month. And that was going to,
I wouldn't know it, I didn't get the documents.
Once again, I have to, based upon my review of the exchanges and the material that took place, there was a request made about inability to open the .emp, to which the clerk responded, did you get it open, did you get access to it, to which there was no response in any of the materials I saw. It was a simple matter for the request to the applicant to come into the township hall and say, hey, I wasn't able to open this, can you print me a copy? Instead, it just, squared off and worked to set up a fight over this issue. I don't see anything that the township did that was inappropriate.
Roll call by the clerk, please.
Reno,
Yes.
Shaka,
Yes.
Pingo,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Falk. Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Approval of bills?
Make a motion, we approve the prepaid bills in the amount of $670,921.98.
Motion by Shonka, is there support?
I'll support it.
Support by Dudash. Is there any discussion regarding the prepaids? Seeing none, roll call by the clerk.
Shaka,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Pingo,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes.
Make a motion, we approve the current bills in the $986,279.55.
Motion by Shonka, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Reno. Is there any discussion regarding the current bills? Seeing none, roll call by the clerk.
Shaka,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
Pingo,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Board correspondence, anyone have anything they want to share?
Yeah, I went to a SEMCOG meeting on Friday. It was talking about the drone deliveries and how it's being coordinated in the SEMCOG area. And the Detroit Railroad's depot, I guess, is what it's called. The 11th floor is all gonna be the drone coordinating center for the whole United States. Yes, on the 11th floor. Takes care of it all. They are coordinating like up at Sault Ste. Marie. They're now delivering freight in the way of parts for emergency repair of freighters by drone. In Traverse City, they got a drone doing blood samples. And my question was, why can't St. Clair County get in the drone business? Our airport's not big enough.
For drones, it's not big enough?
Yeah. They, because we are, the bottom line, everything comes down through to Lake Huron down to St. Clair River. And we used to deliver the mail out there, but that's got transferred, I guess, down to Detroit. So that's why they're going to do it down there. But I think, but the drone industry is being pushed by the Canadians, in the United States. All the, what they're using is a Canadian company. And they're looking at Sarnia because it has an international airport. And I think the Coast Guard should push for that. that was it on that.
Right.
And going back to the doctor, there's a couple meetings coming up on water treatment and how they're gonna, Marysville's got a SIMCOG meeting coming up next Monday at the water treatment facility. And then the city of Fort Huron's got one coming up, but it's a cost of $40 to sit in on that one. It was recently in the paper, and again, they're gonna touch base on fluoride.
Don, do you think it'd be possible for Dr. Nevin to go to the one on Monday, on August 25th at the SIMCOG?
It's in Marysville, at water treatment, he probably already knows about it, maybe not, sir.
I've spoken with the water plant managers of several towns. I'll touch base with the gentleman there, see if I can get it.
That's it.
All right. Well, our new DDA director's been here now for a couple weeks, and he's got lots of ideas even outside of the DDA district. A couple of them are talking about farmers market, maybe get something going on a day that other towns don't have their farmers markets around here. And two, we talked about possibly concerts in the summertime, maybe down, my thought, Bakersfield, maybe rent a pavilion from the stage from the county. But he's getting his feet wet. And I also talked to the city of Port Huron was looking at maybe ways of changing our agreement with them for recreation opportunities. Our residents participating in their programs. And so, just so I'm ahead of myself, I talked to Quentin Bishop, City of Marysville, within last Thursday, and talked to him about maybe doing something like where our residents could use their recreation programs at the same rates that they charge their residents, something like that. And just looking to collaborate, offer him more resources. Marysville has an indoor pool, people are in whatever programs they might have for pools, and just something different. But yeah, things seem to be going all right. He's been keeping in touch with Pat and I. But he sends me articles from the Detroit News, and I can't open them. I don't have a subscription. But I have to do that. So he's pretty excited, and he's kind of getting it running. So things are going good in that aspect. Other than that, I really don't have much to add to what's going on. Anything else?
I've got something. Our summer rec program. I'm on the recreation board, and Melissa Shaw was our director this year. And she created a program survey for the parents to fill out, and the program survey. Produced very positive survey feedback. Overall, the program was a great success with 96 program registrants. They said it was cost-effective and enjoyable for the participants. 2 registration dates ranked high on the list. 90% of parents rated the standards were met. 97 stated that they will return. 100% would recommend our program to others. Their favorite field trips, as rated, was the Detroit Science Center, SC4, Sawmill City, and the Goodle Splash Pad and the Emma Summer Bash. Parent feedback included requests for extended program hours, even only an extra hour. Program equipment request was called a Gaga ball set for next summer, books for reading and quiet time. Other things planned to implement for next year is a knitting time, and assistant director knows how to and will run a knitting class throughout the program for those who want to participate. Some parents wish there was a multiple child discount, and one parent requested better communication as we're not signed up for Remind app that program director used to relay information to the parents. It seemed to be very successful this year. Very few issues as far as kids or staff or anything like that. We had a great crew this year, I think. That's all I got.
One other thing I got is there's a company that's still looking to build some sort of facility. They don't know what, they're looking for a customer down on near the 32nd and Petite Street area in the heavy industrial zone. So hopefully that'll come to fruition.
I got one more. Toward Auburn Hills, I don't know if I brought this up at a previous meeting. They have really gotten a park together. I'm talking about Bakersfield, we should make that crowning jewel. I mean, Memorial is soccer field, and that's, the baseball diamonds. But Bakersfield, we should try. I think a child play skate down there would be great. I don't know how that will work. A lot of water going through that park in the spring, but it doesn't look too bad in Memorial. And you're talking about concert. They did an amphitheater in Auburn Hills. They really did a super job. They just made their park look so much super. And it used to be a brownfield park, so it is. Look for brownfield grants to help out on that.
It's not brownfield.
I don't know. But there's old barrels of that out there, God only knows.
There is?
Yeah.
Where they at?
Well, I shouldn't say how we found them. We might get in trouble.
All right. Anyone else have anything? Motion to adjourn, is there?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dudash, support by
I'll support it.
Pringles. All in favor?
Aye.